Hola, clase de español. ¿Cómo estás? Do you remember what ¿cómo estás means? ¿Cómo estás means how are you? Vamos a cantar. Let's sing our Hola, buenos días song. Hola, buenos días. I forgot to tell you. You have to repeat after me. So remember, when I do this, you're going to repeat after me in the song. Let's try again. Hola, buenos días. Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Remember, you're going to do ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Estoy muy bien, gracias. Let's try that again. Estoy muy bien, gracias. Let's start from the beginning. Hola, buenos días. Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Estoy muy bien, gracias. Adiós, buenas noches. Adiós, hasta mañana. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Estoy muy bien, gracias. Remember, ¿qué tal means what's up or what's happening. So when you say ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? What's up? How are you? Estoy muy bien, gracias. I'm very well, thank you. And that's a good song, una canción buena that we can sing to help us review our greetings. Today, vamos a aprender la pregunta en español. We're going to learn the question in Spanish to ask your age. Before we do that, we need to go over numbers, números in español in Spanish. So, we're going to start. I'm going to stand and I'm going to point to the numbers and talk about the numbers in Spanish. And we're just going to stop at 20 and second grade. Later on in the video, we will continue to 30. So for zero, cero. Repite, cero. Uno. Dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, cinco is 5, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, 10. Now for 11. Once, 12, 13, 14, that's 14. 14. 15, that's 15. 15. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 all end in a se. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I want to look now at the last digits that go to 20. 16, 17, 18, 19. 16, 17, 18, 19 are two numbers together that make a new number. We call that a compound word. When two small words make one big word, it's a compound word in English and also in Spanish. So for 16, we say 16. 16. 16. 16. 10 and 6, which are 16. For 17, 17. 17. 17. You can hear it. 17. 10 and 7. 17. For 18, do you know what it could be? If you know how to say 10, 10, and 8, 8, let's hear it in the word. 18. 18. 18. What about 19? If you know how to say 9, 9, and 10, 10, let's hear it in the word. 19. 19. 19. And for 20, 20. 20. 20. So those are our números from 0 hasta 20, from 0 to 20. Those are our numbers. Now, to ask the question, how old are you? That's the question we ask in English. When we translate that question to Spanish, our question changes, and what we're really asking is cuántos. Cuántos in Spanish is like how much or how many. Cuántos. Años is the word for years. Año is 1 year, años, years. So you're asking how many years do you have? But that's not the question you ask. It's not the way it's worded in English. You word it, how old are you? But that's the question that we use to ask age. ¿Cuántos años tienes? Repite, ¿cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos años tienes? Is the question we ask when we want to know how old are you. To answer ¿cuántos años tienes? We use tengo, and you say your age, años. In English you would say I am 5 years old. In Spanish, tengo 5 años. Really what you're saying is I have 5 years. But we don't say that in English, so we translate it. That means we just take it back to English, but we say I am 5 years old. ¿Cuántos años tienes? How old are you? If you're 7 years old, tengo 7 años. Tengo 7 años. If you're 8 years old, tengo 8 años. Tengo 8 años. If you're 6 years old, tengo 6 años. Tengo 6 años. Really, before the tengo, we would say yo. Yo in Spanish, and I'll write it on my board. Yo in Spanish, point to yourself and say yo. Repite yo. Yo means I. So really you would say yo tengo, then the number in Spanish, and then años. Yo tengo 5 años. I am 5 years old. Yo tengo, or 6 años. I am 6 years old. Yo tengo 6 años. Maybe you're 7. Yo tengo 7 años. Yo tengo 7 años. Or maybe you're 8. Yo tengo 8 años. Yo tengo 8 años. The reason why I wrote it like this is because in Spanish, when I say tengo, that means I have. So the verb, this is called a verb in Spanish, it actually, when I say tengo, I'm talking about myself. So I don't even need to use the yo. And you'll learn more about that in tercer grado, in 3rd grade. But for now, you can say, tengo 5 años, tengo 6 años, tengo 7 años, tengo 8 años. So you would put your age right here. So, kindergarten. I want you to design your own bizcocho or pastel, your own birthday cake. And how we say cake in Spanish, sometimes you will hear pastel, sometimes you will hear bizcocho, sometimes you will hear torta. Depending where you travel in the Spanish-speaking world, we have different words for the word cake in English. Or you can do a cupcake. And cupcake has many different words, and depending where you go. A lot of people just use, Spanish-speaking people will just say the word cupcake because that's really an English and American pastry. It's not really something that's original in Spanish-speaking. In the Spanish-speaking world, there's something called Magdalena, which is like a cupcake without frosting. It's kind of like a cupcake, but not quite. Sometimes people will call cupcake pastelito, or that's depending where you travel. But most of the time, if people hear you say cupcake, they'll know what you're talking about because it's like an American thing, pastry. But you're going to design your own bizcocho. I'll use that word. That's the word I grew up with for cake, but for your birthday. And I just did a printout here, but you can actually draw your own. And I want you to put the number of candles, velas, on it to show your age. And then send me a video of you saying, tengo 5 años if you're 5 years old, or maybe you're turning 6 or you're 6 years old. So you would do 6 candles, 6 velas. So you would say, tengo 6 años. So kindergarten, that's your activity. You can color and design your very own birthday cake, put the candles on to show your age, and then videotape yourself showing me that you can say your age, your edad, your age in Spanish. So you can stop the video now, kindergarten, and get started on your activity. Adios. 1st grade. You're going to do the same thing, design your very own birthday cake, but you are going to add the Spanish phrase at the bottom. So you will write at the bottom of your bizcocho, of your cake, the words tengo, and then you just have to draw the number of the age that you are, años, and send me a video of you saying, tengo 6 años, I am 6 years old. Tengo 7 años, I'm 7 years old. Telling me your age and showing me the cake, but you need to write that out in Spanish. So 1st grade, you can stop the video now and get started. Adios. 2nd grade. 2nd grade, you're going to learn right now, if you want to ask an adult their age, remember we talked about tú and usted. Tú is the question we just asked. That's a question you can ask people that you can call by their first name. We called it informal, okay? If you want to ask an adult their age, you need to ask it saying this. ¿Cuántos años tiene usted? ¿Cuántos años tiene usted? Repite. ¿Cuántos años tiene usted? This is the respectful way to ask an adult person. You remember, we use usted for people we have to say Mr. or Mrs. to. This is the question we would ask when we ask their name. their answer is going to be the same. Tengo, however many years old. So the answer doesn't change. It's just the way we ask the question to the adult. That's what changes. So for your assignment, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to draw a cake, however, design it however you want. But you're actually going to write out the question on the top. ¿Cuántos años tienes? We're going to use the informal, the one that you first learned. This one. So you're going to write that out at the top. And then at the bottom, you're going to write tengo, your age, años. Remember, you can just write the number. You don't have to write out the Spanish word. I will attach the number list to this assignment so you can see what each word in Spanish sounds like. Now, before I forget, let's see if I have it. I don't have it with me. So, let's see. We are going to actually look at our numbers up to past 20. So in second grade, we do our numbers to 30. So we stopped at 20 and we said 20. Notice even though it begins with a V, and we talk about the alphabet in a little while, the V sounds like a soft, we're going to say it like a soft B, like a letter B. It's easier to count that way. 20. So for 21, 21, 21. And you see it's 20, and then there's that little I. It's a connector. It means and. 20 and 1. 21. 22. 22. 20. 21. 22. 23. 23. 24, 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, and if you're paying attention, this is 26. You see that 6 right there, 20 and 6, 26. 27, 27, it's 27, 27. 28, 28, 28. 29, 29, 20 and 9, it's 29, 29. And then for 30, 30, 30, 30. And if you notice, all throughout when we were counting the 20s, we had that little I in between so we could see the 20 part, and then it was repeating. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that will repeat over and over, and then the tens place is going to change. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and then the last one, 30. Can you guess what would be 31? If you thought 31, you're right. It will go just like that, 31, and we'll talk about that later on, possibly this year, but most likely next year in third grade when you see how we continue on past 30. It's written a little bit differently, but the sounds are the same. 31, 32, 33. All right, second grade. So your assignment is attached to this to your Google Classroom. Again, if you have Any questions, feel free to message me on Google Classroom. Adios, hasta luego.